Legacy software is being replaced. There is a gold rush happening right now, where AI startups are shipping faster, growing leaner, and delivering results that a traditional legacy software simply cannot. People are frustrated with the tools like Salesforce, and they're not just ready to try something new. They are desperately calling for something leaner, faster, and today we're going to look into exactly how the AI economy is completely rewriting the rules. Faster growth, leaner teams, and VC pouring dollars in like it's the 1999 internet crazy era. And we're also gonna try to figure out how we can participate into that economy, even if we're not technical and even if we're just getting started. First, let's try to understand why the AI growth is exploding so fast. Well, if SaaS was a marathon, AI is absolutely a rocket launch. We are not just in a new era of technology, we are in a full-blown arms race. And fuel, LLMs, agents, and computes, lots of it. Let's try to break it down. In 2024 alone, over $100 billion in venture capital flowed into AI. That is 33% of all global VC. And the year-over-year growth of AI funding is at 80%. And AI startups are not just rising, they are scaling at the incredible speed and unprecedented speed. Cursor got to 200 millions in ARR in less than 2 years. Jiva, 5 million ARR in 9 months, and with a team of 11 people. But let's try to compare this to SaaS, traditional SaaS. Well, the average time to get to 100 million in ARR for traditional SaaS companies was almost 8 years, if they ever got there. Harvey, another example, did that or is about to do that in less than 3 years. So yes, AI companies are not just growing faster, they are completely redefining what fast means. But why this is happening? I would personally point to 3 main reasons behind this. The first is pre-trained model, that they give you a huge head start. Founders no longer have to build everything from scratch. You can just take a pre-trained foundational models and the time to market is literally days and not months of research and developments anymore. The teams are much smaller. LLMs and AI agents can handle now workflow that previously required full-on teams to do, and now you don't need that team anymore, so that's why you can do it with a smaller team. Essentially, you don't need long research and development cycles. You can just build, test, and ship overnight. And this isn't just SaaS with AI on top of it. This is really a completely new model. The capital efficiency that is coming out of this company is crazy. It's actually a paradox, because you have a lot more ARR with very little teams, much less money, and much faster. It sounds almost fake, right? But it's not, and it's actually happening right now. In the SaaS era, really, efficiency meant 1 million in ARR per person, per employee. But in the AI era, we are literally seeing 5 million ARR per employee, with profit as well. And here is what is even more interesting. Many of these startups company, they aren't just building traditional apps or traditional softwares. They are really exploring with a completely new kind of product. That is AI agents. AI agents are really not just tools. They are goal-driven, semi-autonomous workers that can plan, execute, and handle entire workflows by themselves. We used to write software to help people work better, be more productive. Now we are writing software to literally do the whole work. AI agents are not just another product category. They are a new kind of worker, not a simple tool in your toolbox, but an autonomous intern that shows up on day one and start grinding 24/7, never stopping. Agents don't just support the employees, they replace the workflow entirely. They plan, remember, and act. And unlike traditional SaaS, they do not need you to click buttons every once in a while. SaaS was really augmentation and the assistant tool, whereas now AI agents are really the executor. They are the complete automation. You can think it like this. With SaaS tools, you sign in, you click around, you export, and then you report. But with AI agents, you simply say, oh, I need the Q2 report for the 2024 year. And it does everything. Fetches the data, builds the slides, emails, and emails that even to your CFO. That is not augmentation. That's not just augmentation. It's really execution as a service. But let's try to be a little bit more specific. What is an AI agent really? What is a vertical AI agent really? Essentially, it's an agent that is purpose-built for a specific domain. It understands the jargon, the workflows, and the edge cases. For example, general LLMs can talk about laws, but only a legal AI vertical agent can actually write contracts, cite relevant precedents, and flag compliance issues, all during your lunch break. Harvey is a very good example. They can do all of the actual legal work, whereas ChatGPT, yes, you can talk about legal stuff with it a little bit, but you wouldn't trust ChatGPT to actually write you a full-on contract. But why aren't these just GPT wrappers? At the end of the day, they take a foundational models, they fine-tune it a little bit, and they start working on it. Well, here is what I think the skeptics get wrong. The reason why AI agents are not simply GPT wrappers is because there are three things that go under the hood that are very complex. The first is that AI agents needs deep integration. Think about the traditional ERPs or CRMs. They need to integrate through all of these traditional platforms, pull the data, and take action based on those. That is why the agentic architecture is also very important. Planning, reflection, memory tools, these all needs to be integrated through all of the traditional softwares. And also, most importantly, there is a domain-specific intelligence. Essentially, you have to fine-tune on a lot of legal contracts, so in our example of the AI lawyer. Medical records if you want to fine-tune for something specific for healthcare. And then you have to do a lot of RAG, the specific domain it's built for. And finally, a wrapper simply gives you an answer, whereas an agent actually gets shit done. Now, this is kind of cool, but is that worth the premium? In fact, would you pay 30 times revenue for an AI startup? Well, VCs are actually doing that. In fact, AI startups get a 29.7 times revenue multiples, almost 30 times revenue. Compared to traditional SaaS, that's about 7 times revenue. Well, that's absolutely crazy. Public AI companies as a whole have about 2 times the multiple of their non-AI peers. And let's take Perplexity as an example. They are targeting 18 billion valuation for about 100 million in revenue. That is a 180 times multiple on revenue. Quite impressive. So what gives? Why are VC throwing so much money at such crazy valuations into AI companies? Well, I think it's because they realized something very crucial. And that is, well, if you think about it, AI is not really selling to software. They are really selling to labor automation. Let's be honest here. A lot of people say, oh, AI won't replace jobs. They will just make humans work better. And yeah, sure, maybe, but that is not really what is happening right now. And that is not where the value really is. AI is really moving from human augmentation to workflow automation and to then finally job replacement. Not in every case, of course, but in more and more cases every single month. So what's the real secret sauce behind the AI premium? If you really think about it, this flow from human augmentation to job replacement really changes everything. And that is because when AI startups build AI agents, they're not really selling that to the IT departments, to the IT spend. They are replacing labor, actually. And if you look at the TAM, well, the global IT spend, well, of course, it's huge, 1.5 trillion. But what about the global labor market? 50 trillion. Quite a big difference. AI agents are not just tools. They are a replacement labor. And they don't target traditional software budgets. They are going straight for payrolls. This isn't really about making your accountant 10x faster. It's about completely replacing your accountant in the first place. And that is why I believe the AI premium is absolutely worth it. It's because the upside is massive. That's why valuations are higher, and that's why growth is so much faster. SaaS was able to make your team more efficient. Agents replace the need of a team entirely. Absolutely crazy. And that is a big problem for traditional SaaS companies. Every single SaaS tool is now a target, and the AI agents are the arrows. For every single unicorn SaaS built in the 2010s, there is now an AI agent that is aiming at them and trying to get their lunch. The old software stack is really bloated. Legacy tools are very expensive. Slow and built on top of humans pressing buttons all the time. Renewal cycles are getting harder and harder to justify. Users are frustrated, and the teams are willing to try these new AI tools because of this frustration. Salesforce, LinkedIn Recruiter, they all risk getting disrupted away. How? I would say there are mainly two ways of disruption patterns. The first one is more of an AI like a backend. You can think of tools like Cursus coding assistants. And then there is AI embedded in the workflows or products that the customers actually need, like bookkeeping, customer support, accountants, email outreach, and who knows what more. The result? Well, the result is that you don't need a dashboard anymore. Zero dashboard, just 100% outcome. This is absolutely not just hype. The ROI is clear and easy to demonstrate. That is also why these teams are trying all of these new AI tools. They are all willing to give a shot and give it a try to all of these new companies. And once they try them, well, AI agents don't just reduce the cost. They decrease complexity and they eliminate a lot of needs like onboarding, train and manage, and a billion more use cases. All of these are not just feature improvements. It's a completely new value proposition. Again, SaaS was a human augmentation, but AI agents are human and labor replacement entirely. So far, so good. It sounds all like magic. But how can you actually build a moat? If anyone can plug into ChatGPT-4, for example, what's stopping someone from just copying your idea and passing them tomorrow into their company? How do you build a lasting moat? Okay, let's try to understand this. Back to the SaaS era, you could build a moat out of the network effect, which is still a very valuable moat you can build, then the switching cost, and the feature depth. These last two are now worthless. And in the new AI era, this is what I think is gonna matter the most. But please, if you have different ideas, let me know, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. The first and probably biggest moat I identified is proprietary data. RAG systems, grounded in internal docs, real-time operational data, or any very niche industry knowledge. Fine-tuning a model on sensitive workflows that only you deeply know and nobody else can access to. This is one of the biggest moats in my opinion. Whoever can own the data that can teach the agents how to think like an expert, well, they can win. But also there is the integration problem. Integration is very important, and if you do not integrate into a lot of traditional software, the value of your AI agent can actually be zero. Having a good agentic infrastructure that is deeply integrated with as much software and traditional tools as possible can give you a big competitive moat as well. And then I would say that there is another moat. So far we talked about these were more product-based moats, but actually another trend that is happening is that we are also moving toward a world where AI and low-code tools make product creation almost frictionless and more accessible. So also the competitive edge is kind of shifting. Product excellence is very important, but alone is not enough. More and more people can build easily. They can ship product faster. So the moat can shift from product to distribution. So the product moat has to be deeply intertwined with the distribution moat. Even the most sophisticated product, the most sophisticated AI agent can die in the dark if nobody knows it exists. There will likely be a lot of winners that have just good enough products, but they can really crack the distribution code. Implementing new and creative go-to-market strategy and every efficient way to decrease the customer acquisition cost. That would be a very big bottleneck. So yes, distribution in my opinion is gonna be more and more important over time. And also distribution is not just about growth in general. The reason why it has to be deeply intertwined with product is because it's also a faster path in my opinion, because the more clients use your AI agent, the more data you can collect, and then the stronger you can make your AI agent. A better product, and again, more clients, more data, and you create this virtuous cycle through distribution and product where you can actually create a lasting moat. The caveat here is that of course it really depends on the AI agent you are building, because you can get access to a lot of data, but if that data is not valuable and you can't really make your AI agent better based on that data, then you don't really care about the data in the first place. Or if the data is very valuable but everybody has access to it. So it really depends. You have to take this with a grain of salt, but in general I think it's a good strategy to develop a lasting moat. So the takeaway to build a moat is the following. Yes, GPT-4 is available for everybody, but nobody can replicate your your insights into your niche. Nobody can copy your integrations, or your training data, or your go-to-market brilliance. That's the moat. But actually, there are some other more technical problems. If all of these sounded too good, is because it kind of was. Agents are very, very powerful, but they're also very fragile. Behind every success, there is a graveyard of hallucinations, integrations nightmares, and regulatory roadblocks. So let's try to break it down briefly. First, hallucinations. They do kill trust, and trust is super important. Agents are not allowed to be mostly right, 99% of the time right. They really have to be 100% of the time right. Think about one wrong answer in finance or healthcare. The result can be catastrophic. And yes, there are some tools that can help, and RAG also can help, but all of these mitigations are not perfect yet. So that's the first one, hallucination. The second one is actually the integrations. They are still quite messy to do. Legacy systems have outdated APIs and sometimes very weird data formats. So you can't just plug in and go, which is why you might need a technical co-founder still. Third is compliance. Compliance, in fact, is not optional at all. GDPR, HIPAA, SOC2, all of these acronyms actually matter. Agents many times handle sensitive informations, and for that you must be compliant. The fourth hard truth is that there can be a very high inference cost at scale. We did a bunch of videos about this, you can find them somewhere here. But essentially, at scale, AI inference will be a real and deep bottleneck. Fancy agents can be quite expensive to run. More planning, more tools, more compute, all equal higher burn and higher cost. So capital efficiency at MVP doesn't necessarily mean capital efficiency at scale. As more and more companies and AI agents will start to be deployed into the actual labor economy, the 5 trillion labor economy, there will be a huge demand for inference, and as of right now, we simply do not have the capacity for all of that demand. So I guess we'll see what happens. In conclusion, we are still very early on the AI agent era, and one thing is very clear. The way we build companies, the way we build software, and think about working in general, and it's changing super fast. This shift is not about just writing better code. It's about understanding deep problems, understanding real workflows, understanding where AI agents can quietly take on all the heavy lifting. And there are a lot of opportunities out there. So whether you're thinking about starting something new, investing in this space, or just trying to keep up, well, you're not too late and you're not alone. Thank you for watching, and I see you next time.